All right, so get me up to speed with advanced intelligence systems. Um, you know what you're doing, how you're going to grow it. Kind of catch me up from the businesses you had to the current one you're at now. So.
Sure. So Advanced Intelligence Systems started by wanting to create a robot for nurseries and greenhouses to move and space plant pots. Now, when we started looking at this robot, we said, well, what can we do in order to differentiate ourselves from the marketplace? And we said, well, one of the biggest concerns for new technology is how you service it. So we said, how can we eliminate the need for a service person to go out there and service these machines? And we concluded that what we needed to do was to create modules within that machine so that people could change that module themselves and send that module to us for servicing rather than us sending a service technician to them. So we said, well, this is great. Let's start making modules. And then we said, okay, well, we're going to make modules in our hardware, but also in our software. And then as we started doing this modularity, we said, this is great. We can actually standardize robotics doing this, as long as we keep creating our own modules in everything we want to do. I'll give you an example. Right now, you have a car. You want a battery for your car. You don't go look for the manufacturer of your car in order to find a battery. You walk anywhere, you say, hey, this is a car I have. They say, this is the kind of battery that fits it because it's been standardized. So imagine if robotics is standardized through modularity. And the possibilities are endless if that happens. So we started working on methods and processes to standardize robotics. And through those works, we generated a series of modules, both hardware and software modules. And these hardware and software modules help decrease the cost and the time of creating a new robot significantly. So we were talking to our markets and we were saying to them, hey, this is the vision we have. So they came up with more things they wanted from us. So we started working on more products using our modules. And then when COVID hit us, we were going to deliver a bunch of robots to some customers and they closed the borders on us. And the government came to us and said, hey, you want to compete in creating something for fighting COVID? And we said, sure, let's look at what the options are. And within a few months, we were able to repurpose one of our nursery robots into a UV disinfectant robot. And the interesting thing is that this UV disinfectant robot can be used with our current customers too, and it can open new markets for us. So that was a test of our modularity to see if we can reduce the time and the cost of creating a new robot significantly. And so right now, we have filed quite a few patents in order to protect our modules library. And we are in the process of commercializing the 2 robots that we've created to date. And we have some more robots in our pipeline that we're working on. So what is the future for us? We have a big vision. But of course, every vision has to be big. That's the nature of having a vision, right? So our vision is to have a practical robot for every task. And we define practicality by having the kind of robots that are affordable, either through a robot as a service system, or we call it a MaaS system, machine as a service, that's connected, is IoT and AI enabled, so it keeps getting smarter as it works, and it's fully connected, so it can communicate back and forth. And it's upgradable through modularity, and it requires minimum infrastructure to be deployed. And it should also be easy to use and easy to service. So our vision is to have a practical robot for every task, and that is the definition of practicality that we have in mind. Now, to elaborate a little bit on this, when Microsoft started, Microsoft is a big successful company and everybody knows about that. Mm-hmm. They started writing software, but their vision was to have a computer in every home. Uber wanted transportation for everyone everywhere, but they didn't build a single car. And Tesla wanted to educate people about sustainability, but they're a car company. So what these visions have in common is that all these successful companies are enablers of a marketplace to take life. How did they enable it? Microsoft was able to make computers user-friendly, and that's how they got one computer in every home. And they achieved that vision through their Windows. Uber wanted to bring the end users of transportation to the providers of it. So they had transportation for everyone everywhere. So our vision's along the same lines. When I tell you that we want a practical robot for every task, we don't want to go out there and produce 1 million robots. But we want to produce some robots, put it out there, be profitable, show that it's doable, and then we want to empower the robotics industry to be able to produce a practical robot for every task using the platforms, the methodologies, and the modules we've created.
So I've got to tell you something. First, I'm going to put a shout out to my podcast producer for getting this interview with us booked, because I seriously, like, as you speak, I just am so impressed, because you're basically, you brought up those companies, you brought up what you're trying to do. And it's literally, this is one of the things I'm most passionate about. It's like, there's been robotic lawnmowers out, and I'm telling you this so you can kind of see that you are so on the right track. It's absolutely insane. So, there have been robotic lawnmowers out since 1995 in Europe. They come to the United States. Nobody's heard about them. The manufacturer, Husqvarna, Ambrosia, there's all these different manufacturers, but Husqvarna in particular cannot figure out why these robots are not selling in the United States. Yeah. And the reason they were not selling is because there was nobody making it easy for the consumer. Okay. The consumers, if you have something that's automated, the consumer wants it to just be easy. Okay. Yes. Because none of these people that are asking for the automation have your type of educational background. Okay. And you're the one person that has the background to make these things, that actually is getting it, in my opinion, because what AOS does is exactly what you guys are trying to do, which is, bring the robots in to do a task other people don't want to do, and just make a platform that's easy. And then to even go a step further, this podcast and what I'm passionate about doing is to say, I don't need to sell all of it. I don't need to be the person that does it all. I just need to be the person that makes it easier for people to do it, so that the technology takes hold. So anyways, I seriously, it's like, we're going to run out of time at some point, but I feel like I could talk to you for weeks.